Morning, everybody. Quick plane cast about what I see is probably the most common challenge in engineering teams with startups. This also applies to the mid-market companies and stuff like that as well. Nobody's immune. But the challenge is what I call delegating down. So delegating down happens kind of from a big picture standpoint when fast-moving founders and executives are out in the field getting ideas. They're seeing competitors' products. They're talking to investors. They're doing all kinds of things, taking in way too much input, and they're coming back to the team at home, and they're saying, here's what we need to do, let's change this, let's change that. Sometimes it happens without the constant back and forth, but regardless, it's a result of people pushing the technical requirements lower and lower and lower in the responsibility chain until a person at a low level in charge of implementation or writing code or whatever has to figure out what the heck they're talking about, what these features are, and how they're going to be defined and built, and what the priorities are. So if you're on the engineering side of things, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and sometimes I call it, drive-by feature requests. But in a nutshell, it causes three problems for engineering. The first challenge is defining what it is that's being asked for. As you know, from an engineering standpoint, things have to be fairly concrete and well-defined from a technical standpoint. The second challenge is prioritizing the new features requests over everything that's already in production. And the third challenge is figuring out how to deal with conflicts where what you're being asked to do on the engineering side directly conflicts something that you're already trying to do. So everybody's already got too many things on their plate. And now, on top of that, you're being asked to figure out, well, our platform, for example, has permission levels that are built in. And now we're being asked to break those permission levels and do something completely different. Or, integrate with a system that requires a different permission level, whatever. So these are the types of things that happen all the time to tech departments. And speaking to founders and executives here, what you really need to do is you need to break it up and create essentially a third, intermediary position. And it's the person that has ultimate authority over the specification for the product. Typically, it's called a product manager. That always strikes fear in the hearts of founders and small companies because they don't have the budget for that. They don't want to, try and hire someone at that level. So, at a minimum, you should define that position, even if you can't fill it with a full-time person. 2875, good day, 2 X-ray. Give me a second. Morning, SoCal. It's here 92 Sierra X-ray 9.5. 5927. And 902 Sierra X-ray 9.5. We're requesting the coastal route. 92 Sierra X-ray, second first, better advise when you start to VFR descent down to 5,500, Burbank altimeter 29908. We'll advise prior to descent, 2 Sierra X-ray. So that position needs to be like a solid gateway. Whether or not you fill that position with somebody from the business side, a sales and marketing type person who has technical knowledge, or whether you fill it from someone that from the engineering side, from the point of view of somebody that has deep technical knowledge, but also understands the business case. Either way, it has to be like an ironclad gateway. So the people that are on the business, the sales and marketing, the fast-moving, visionary side of things, are able to essentially articulate the vision to the product manager or whatever position you're putting in that spot. And that person needs to have enough technical knowledge to concretely define what it is that's being asked of the engineering team and give them a specification that they don't have to guess. And so that's my standard is, if they have to sit there and guess about features, maybe there's a few interface changes or things like that they can figure out. But by and large, if there's a major flow or the order of operations, from screen to screen, or how things are handled in the back end, how the data is handled, that needs to be defined essentially by the product manager. And they're going to have a lot of meetings back and forth with the engineering team, figuring out what's possible, and then pushing back on the business side to, probably change the request a little bit to make it fit the existing platform or whatnot. We found that role to be absolutely critical to hitting timelines, to hitting deadlines, and to avoiding engineering burnout, where they're being asked to do more and more and more, faster and faster, without any prioritization or clear definition. Anyways, if you have any questions you want to discuss, please feel free to comment below, and we'll do our best to answer.